And speaking of super straight,
Speaking of super straight, absolutely. So,
just in time for the census.
oh, I love how meme magic. It's just all coming together.
Yes, I just can't explain it.
Yeah. So the British Census is coming up. We had one for 2001, and we're now having the 2021 version.
Well, we had the 2011 one.
2011 as well. So it's every 10 years, so it's just in time for the census. I've got one. I got one in the post.
Yeah, I haven't
pretty
got
much
mine yet.
Most people get them. I don't know how they distribute them, but my understanding of the law here is that you are required to fill it in, and you are required to be honest, with the threat of a fine of £1,000 if you are not honest. But of course, they're not just asking where, are you self-employed?
Sure.
How many households do you live in, or something like this? They have to ask identity questions because that's what the census is about.
And how could you ever prove that you lied about something that you self-identify as?
Exactly. As a country, we have accepted self-identification as something that is valid. If I identify as a thing, whether it's my religion, my sexual orientation, my sex, blah, 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 you can do all of this. That's legal. That's right. So I just wanted to go back here. So the Jedi census phenomenon, which took place in 2001, was people putting this down into practice, which was self-identifying their religion as Jedi. So this went all over the Anglosphere. So in Australia, 70,000 people put themselves down as Jedi. In New Zealand, 53,000 people. So that's 1.2% of the population saying they were Jedi. In Canada, 21,000 people. And in England and Wales, 390,000 people said, yep, I'm a Jedi. Let's put that down. And the state had to accept it. They couldn't reject it. And presumably they won't be able to reject what people put in this census. Some interesting tidbits is that the Jedi population of England and Wales in 2001 was higher than the Jewish population of England and Wales. So,
Okay.
so if Jews are valid by self-ID, so are the Jedis. That's how this argument goes.
Well, where's Jedi representation then?
Yeah, this also didn't stay just within the Anglosphere. 303 Croats decided to say that they were Jedi, 640 Serbians, and 15,000 Czechs. Apparently the Czech Republic just went mental for this. So
Well, how many people identified as Sith?
I didn't see anyone identifying as Sith, but it was like 15 people in Scotland identified as the dark side. So the cabinet of the SNP, I presume.
Based.
Anyway, so yeah, people are having some fun with the new census, and some of the fun is lighthearted, let's say. So let's go to the next one. So this is someone putting their sexual orientation as massive raving bender, which, okay, Rob?
Tell him that he's not.
The next one here, someone identifying as Sigma male as their gender identity.
Okay,
So-
Amber, thank you.
Not really too sure what that one means. Apparently it's like some form of alpha male, but I don't really understand it.
No, I don't.
So, and then the next one here, some lady saying that she identifies her sexual orientation as only attracted to a-holes. Okay, so some of this is lighthearted and obviously just taking the mickey. But then there's the people who are not taking the mickey and honestly are going to fill in memes, but they don't think they're memes because they're absurd people. So let's go to the next one. Sorry. This is, I think it's the Welsh version
This is
or
the
something.
Scottish one, is it?
Yeah, because we have to accept every language. It's just more absurdity.
What sex would ye be?
Woman body or man body? Well,
Is this from like the 1500s or something?
I know, right?
Like medieval English
But anyway,
census.
yeah, let's get to the people taking it seriously. So that's the next one, which is the European posting. So this is a verified account.
Oh, God, the
Saying,
cringe.
In the 2021 census,
European.
declare yourself European, stay European. I'm assuming this is some actual European person posting this by the looks of him.
AC Grayling?
Yeah. Not
Oh,
another
God, he's a philosopher who is just insufferable. He is. Imagine
Is he a Europoor or an Englishman?
Oh, he's an English Europhile, and he's the kind of like the apotheosis of all of the left-wing cringe when it comes to Europe, all wrapped into one guy who can't believe that we're such evil little Englanders.
Yeah. Can you scroll down a little bit? I just want to remember how many likes this got, because this wasn't just like a small thing.
700 likes. Oh, God, that's even worse.
Yeah.
It's not even many.
But it wasn't just like a one-time thing. I found a whole bunch of these, and I couldn't include them all because they're just sort of endless. But like this is some account being like, stay European, retweet if you're going to identify as European, 3,000 likes.
There are going to be less Europeans in Britain than there are Jedis, is what you're saying, right?
I think there'll probably end up being more. There's a lot of deranged Ramonas out there who are seemingly doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all on Twitter. These are the kinds of people there, so it was easy to find them at least. And then there's another, just more. Let's just flick through some. So the next one. So this is, some lady saying that she's going to do it. And then the next one. just someone who actually filled it in and did put European. It's like, oh god.
European isn't a national identity, you brainlets.
Someone also filling in national identity as European, and then next. Yeah, another one saying they're European. And then this was a lady, a lady, I think I am obliged to say at gunpoint, filled in their sex here as female. And they then went on to put their gender identity as woman. So it was a bit like, I'm not sure that's actually true. Because in this country, if you want to become your sex on your passport, I think it's your passport on the rest of it, to be the opposite, there is a long list of requirements for NHS surgery and all the rest of it. It's like 2 years of commitment. You have to show that you're taking the hormones, show that you're making real steps, that you genuinely believe that this is going to help you, and then you can be identified as the opposite. First, we don't use self-ID for transgenderism in this country, is my understanding, by the law. So, which is why the Labour Party's so upset about it.
Well, as a super straight person, this is not my problem.
not of your interest. And then there's some other gender weirdness going on. So then this person identified their gender identity as genderqueer/agender.
I mean, there's literally nothing stopping you from writing super straight on this.
But I mean, this is the thing. Like, self-identification has been circling around in, let's say, Tumblr circles for ages. But in the last 10 years, it's exploded into the absolute mainstream. You've got massive swathes of left-wing parties of these kinds of people who unironically think that when they're filling in forms, they need to put their special little made-up nonsense. And it's very cringe, but it's going to mess up the census, I think. I think you're going to see a significant spike in people identifying as a million different genders, and then the gender figure is going to be kind of worthless. You're going to have to just start guessing.
It'll just have to go back to being sex again, won't it?
But then that won't even matter. Like the previous poster here, they just put their sex as the opposite one to what the law requires them to put. So,
well, I hope they don't get fined.
That's a thing. So then of course this went into the politics. David Lammy got mad about the census. Of course he did. Oh, so he posted what seems to be here like a screenshot of all the different ethnic groups that we collect. But this isn't the one from 2021. Just keep in mind. This is presumably 2011s or whatever it was. And he's complaining here that if you're black and you want to identify in the ethnic category, you can be black Caribbean or black so on and so forth, or you can be white English. So he's like, well, why can't I be black English? You know, I'm black and I live in England, whatever. And that's fine. Actually, I should know here, he's complaining that his kids can't do it, not him, which is
mixed
weird.
Black and white English. Their mother was born in Northampton. Since when do you need to be white to be English? Well, the thing is, if you look at your thing there, David, it actually doesn't specify a race. It says English, Welsh, Scottish, Northern Irish, or British. It doesn't require you to be of a sufficiently white skin tone, so your kids could still just write English, David.
Yeah, but the idea that he couldn't be British here, he's also just lying. Like the next one, if we can get it up, is just someone pointing out that you can put black, British, Caribbean, or African on the 2021 one. So she's just like, did you miss this section? Like, why are you just lying again? Like, I just love how David Lammy, like, whenever he tweets, he always messes up. Yeah. Like, it's never anything normal.
But whenever he's making a public appearance, he says something stupid.
Yeah. I love that he's in charge of justice for the Labour Party now. That's the person who's going to be in charge of it. But then, of course, this is the sort of left-wing side of ID poll. But the right-wing side have had equally as much fun with this, because we've all seen that this is apparently valid, in which case, why can't we do strings like this?
Oh, look.
So this is one I found on Facebook. Someone had put in their sexual orientation as super straight, and then in the gender identity, attack helicopter.
Wow.
And then another one here, gender identity, Your Majesty. It's just like, well, how are you going to argue against it? This is, someone putting European, and then the last one's just the meme. The ye olde census from 2014. I don't know.
What sex would ye be? I don't know, William.
But the super straight people, because of course, this might just be a new thing, but people are getting into it for the census. And I wanted to go to a clip from Posey Parker actually promoting this, that people in the census should put super straight. So we'll play this.
Here's what we're going to do. March 21, 2021, you're going to fill out the census. And if you're a straight person, you're going to say your sexual orientation is super straight. We're going to take this wonderful hashtag wave and we're going to insert it into the ONS census, because we want to send a clear message that asking for feelings over facts is not a useful way to get accurate data about the state of the United Kingdom in 2021. This is my act of rebellion. Please join me.
Yeah. So, who's going to stop them as well?
Well, there's literally no way of stopping them, in fact.
Because apparently there was some court case about asking for, I think it was gender identity, in which some people were arguing, well, this doesn't really mean anything. Like, surely we'd be asking about sex and that's it. And they lost that, and then the civil servants have put in gender identity. So it's like, okay, we'll just have memes with it then, because who's going to stop us? I mean, you're literally going to argue that self-ID shouldn't matter then, in which case...
How else are you going to do this? What are you going to do? Start testing people?
I suppose so.
Like, yeah, it kind of has to be done through self-ID, or else you end up opening a very ugly can of worms. But that means you're
not a real Jew. You don't have enough blood from the Jewish race or something.
Exactly.
I mean, is that what the British government's going to do?
Exactly. And so instead, you're going to have to accept that actually everyone's super straight, apart from those people who are straightphobic, superphobic.
I also have to mention the Kekastanis, who have been waiting for their moment here. So this is just like someone posting that they've been reminded from the state here with a sponsored post that the census is coming up. They're like, okay, we remember, Chatelet. We're gonna be doing Kekastani. And some lovely subscriber, and I'm going to play it, mate, because it's so good, decided to actually pay Big Man Tyrone to make a video to promote this.
Yeah.
So let's just play it and enjoy.
Fellow Kekistanis, the national census of the United Kingdom is only held every 10 years. It is critical for all Kekistanis to register as Kekistanis. The national census states it is recognized that these ethnic groups do not represent how all people identify. People are encouraged to write in their ethnicity using their own words if they don't identify with any of the groups on the list. If we become a recognized ethnic group, like the Jedis, our memes and beliefs can be protected under the law. Our free speech and our right of expression are becoming ever restricted. We must act now. Chatelet.
I think that's technically true.
That is the thing here, because it's all well and good us saying, oh, super straight or Kekistani or whatever, right? But if it actually gets into the census, because that's all that really matters when it comes to government policy, it's the thing they'll look at for the next 10 years. If they have that there, and you say, well, under the Equalities Act, sexual orientation is defined, bigotry against ethnicities, so Kekistanis here, then, well, what are they going to do? The law has actually got its hands tied, where it's like, look, Tony Blair did this. There's nothing we can do, mate. Like, we're essentially using the leftist weapon, turning it on its side, and just shoving it back in. Yeah. Using their own strength against them.
Yes.
And I love it. I love the salutes in the chats as well. Good job,
yes.
lads.
Yes.
But that's what's going to be happening with the census. There's a lot of memery going on already. I don't think it's like due for another like 10, 15 days or something until the end date. So people are still filling it out. So anyone who's watching this, I'm not advocating you break the law in the slightest. I'm advocating that you identify as you identify, because that is what the state is asking you to do. That is their demand of you. So
self-identification.
So please do it accordingly.
So when the results come in and it's like 70% Pakistani and 30% Kekistani, it's going to be really confusing, isn't it? It's like, well, what does this mean for the result of mass immigration to Britain? Also,
everyone's sexual orientation went from straight to super straight within 10 years. What happened?
You can just imagine future historians being like, well, it was straight, and then super straight after the advent of LGBTQ. If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 PM UK time on lotuseaters.com.